Before you try to set out to be anything in life, you want to be an actor, an artist, a singer, whatever it is in life, you must be able to answer the question why. If you can answer the question why, I bet you half your problem is solved. My name is Charles Bourne. I'm an actor, content creator, influencer, media entrepreneur. First of all, thank you so much to the organizers of TEDx. Please clap for them. Thank you for inviting me. When I got the invite, I was like, what, me? TEDx? How? I don't have sense like that too, but I'm excited to be here. They said to talk about preparedness meets opportunity. And I'm quite happy about this conversation because honestly, this is the crux of my life, right? All my life, this has been my mantra. And when I got it, I was like, yes, this is God ordained, God orchestrated. And I'm just going to try to sound smart. Again, thank you to every speaker who has spoken and everybody who hasn't spoken. I can't wait to, listen to you guys. All right. Very fine picture, by the way. Do you agree? Very handsome. Okay, so I'm going to start by saying success is not an accident. It is an appointment kept by the prepared. I repeat, success is not an accident, it's an appointment kept by the prepared. I always say this whenever I have the opportunity to speak to anybody, right? Before you try to set out to be anything in life, you want to be an actor, an artist, a singer, whatever it is in life, you must be able to answer the question why. If you can answer the question why, I bet you half your problem is solved. Why do I want to be an artist? Why do I want to be a content creator? Why do I want to sing? Why do I want to dance? Why do I want to jump? Why do I want to have an amazing photo, festival in Abuja? Whatever it is, why am I doing what I'm doing? If you can answer that question, then that's the great place to start, right? I wrote here, I said, so why do I need to be prepared? To be steps ahead, that's number one. To stand out, because preparation cannot hide, that's the truth. To be confident in my craft, your craft. Preparedness shows discipline. And to be successful. Let me give you an example, right? When I was in school, in university, I went to Madonna University, by the way, and I knew from the get-go that I wanted to do radio. I wanted to be a TV boy. That was just my thing, right? I remember being, as a child, my dad would make us watch the network news, and I got to love Cyril Stober and how he used to present the news. And I said, I wanted to be that. My parents wanted me to do law, but that was their cup of tea. I did not do any law, right? Got to school and I studied what I studied. And in school, from school, I started making inquiries. I was in 200 level. I knew I wanted to do radio. So I was finding out, what do I need to do apart from getting a degree to be a radio presenter? That's preparedness, right? So I found out, you needed 20 years experience. How on earth would I get 20 years experience fresh out of university? So what did I do? I interned with my school radio, right? So during my 4-year course in uni, I was working in my school radio. After university, after graduation, youth service called. I was posted to a nursery school to teach English, but I knew that's not my calling. I cannot be teaching. What do I do, right? I know I want to do radio, so what else can I do? And I took my 2 left legs and I went to every radio station in Enugu back in the day. And I said I wanted to intern. I interned at 3 radio stations. I was also doing my PPA, by the way. I was teaching in the morning. And I would run to Dream FM, then I would run to Urban, and I would run to Solid. I was doing 3 radio shows, interning for free. And I was earning 19,800. The school was paying me 7,500. So do the math, right? But I was building what? Experience. When I was done with service, I remember walking into Kiss FM Lagos, and I said, I want a job. And they looked at me like, who is this crazy person? Are you okay? And when the HR took my CV, she looked at it and said, I thought you just finished service. And I said, yes. She said, how have you worked in over 4 or 5 radio stations, right? And I knew that what I had put, the work I had put in was showing, right? That's preparedness, right? You can't wait. I hear people say, I've not gotten the opportunity, I haven't gotten the opportunity. Every day is an opportunity, you guys. Every single day you wake up, you eat, you breathe, you drink, is an opportunity. And don't wait for the opportunities. Anybody who tells you that opportunities come but once is a liar. Opportunities come every single day. You must be ready and be willing to identify it, right? And if you feel like they're not coming, go and find the opportunity. You can't sit in your house and think that heaven will fall on your lap. Are you joking? God has millions of kids that he's catering for. So you must be willing to, help him out, right? So wake up from your bed, get out from your house, and find that opportunity. Every radio job I got, I didn't get invited. They did not do come and do audition, no. I walked in and said, I think I am an asset and you need me. And I always got the most ridiculous, responses. But when they put that mic in front of my mouth, best believe I would eat it, right? Because apart from, my school and the internships and all that great stuff, I was always rehearsing. My mirror was my best friend. My phone camera, whatever, was my best friend. I was consistently, studying, trying to be better. I'm going off script now, but I love it, right? The Holy Spirit is working, amen? I wanted that, right? I also had people internationally who I looked up to. I adored Ryan Seacrest. That's who I wanted to be. And I checked it. I said, what does he do? What's his itinerary? What trainings has he had? And when I found out that he got a BBC training, I said, I'm going to get a BBC training. I was serving when I got my BBC training. Ask me how I paid for that, and only God knows. But I did, right? And that's preparedness. Moving on. I've said don't sit and, wait for opportunities, create them. I also need to mention the fact that, I'm big on my faith, but not religion. I love Jesus. I think it's important that as you're preparing and you're working and doing all you're doing, pray, right? Let him guide you. Sometimes you feel like, oh, this is the trajectory of my life, but it might not really be, right? And he always tells you that, you know what, I know that this is what you want, but this is where I'm leading you to. And he would always, always, always make a way. Very important as well is, how do I stay prepared, right? Or how do I prepare? I said, consume material, read. They say, if you want to hide something from a Nigerian or African, put it in a book. Please, can this generation say no to that? It's very important. Please read. Now we have audiobooks. Just stick it in your ear and just read. You want to be an Oprah Winfrey. You want to be a Mo. You want to be a Hilda Bassi. You want to be a Charles Bond. These people have material that they put out. Have you ever taken your time to even listen? Pick their brain. How do their minds work? Right? Because you can't want to be any of these people seated here and you really don't even understand how their minds work. Right? Very important. I also said be inquisitive, ask questions. Anybody who knows me knows that I would ask 1,000,001 questions. How are we doing this? What's the way? How are we moving? Are we turning? Because it's important. To be prepared, you must ask questions. Ask the right questions. Ask the wrong questions. Just ask. If you're not clear about something, it's okay to ask. Okay? I also said use the internet, of course, consume material. ChatGPT is there. That's great. I said pray. Very important. See, there is this feeling, this euphoria, if that's the right word, that you get when you begin to taste a little bit of success, right? I remember when I started doing content after, I was doing radio and doing content. And I just really, I enjoy content, right? So I just wanted to put out something. And I was trying everything, nothing was working. That's another thing I'm going to say. Listen, it's okay to try everything until you find that one thing, right? It's okay. Don't put yourself in a box. If you wake up this morning, you want to dance. Tomorrow you want to jump, freaking jump. Next tomorrow you want to, whatever it is, just put it out. Especially now that, we have content explosion. Who says you can't be everything? You can, honestly, right? And I remember when I started, getting some sort of traction on social media, honestly speaking, anybody who tells you doesn't get to your head is a liar. I started feeling like I'm the best thing after sliced bread. What? Are you joking? Do you know who I am? And in that same minute, in that same headspace, in that same thought, I cautioned myself, because the minute you feel like you've arrived, you've started failing. Because one thing I realized is when the numbers begin to add up and you see the engagement and, everybody, oh, Charles, or whoever, whatever your name is, you say, okay, I'm here now, they know me now. And a consequence of that is that you begin, without knowing, and this is a human thing, right? You begin to take one step backward, two steps backward. The fire is not as it used to be anymore. And that's failure. So it's important that you never feel like you've arrived. Keep the fire burning. And what does that mean? Stay hungry. You see, the content you made the first day when there was no money in your pockets. That zeal, that zest, it needs to stay even if you have $1 billion. Because guess what? That is what people identified. And if you're true to yourself, that's you, right? So why do you want to be someone else? Another thing I'm going to say here is it's important that you stay true to who you are. Because, I hear people say fake it till you make it, I laugh. Because you really can't sustain it. That's the honest truth, right? It's easy to say, yeah, fake it till you make it, but like when push comes to shove, can you really fake something that's not in there? But when it's in there, it's natural, right? They call you, come and do this, and you can, the amazing MCs, by the way, put your hands together for the MCs, love them, right? For example, you're an MC and, they say, oh, you didn't prepare, you're just somewhere and say, oh, take the mic, do something for us. But because you faked it and now you have to just, out of the blues, do something, you're quite confused, you're shaking, nobody understands what you're doing. Doesn't make any sense, right? So it's important that you stay true to yourself. I'm trying to be sure. Okay, I have 2 more minutes, great. Woo, Lord help me. I said pray and trust God. I'm gonna end by saying, one day, your moment will come, and in that moment, you won't have the time to prepare. You will only have the time to perform. So stay prepared. Every single day, stay prepared. You never really can tell when an opportunity might come. And please, creatives, young people, whatever your age bracket might be, your tax bracket might be, don't be afraid to say no. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. If the money that brand is offering you is not your money, I'm sorry, I'm not taking it, right? The brand that will pay me. They'll come eventually, right? I also said, finally, stay hungry, never feel like you've arrived, keep the fire on the same tempo. And yeah, I've always wanted to say this. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thank you, guys.